Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Good to see ya. Welcome to Radical Connections TV with
Jesse and Irina.
Hey, hi guys. Good to see you. Let me share this beautiful podcast or video live with our Facebook viewers so we can get them on board as well and come watch us. All right. Very good. Yay. Thank you. All right. Welcome, welcome. So, what is our today's topic, my love?
Well, kisses first.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's our topic. Kisses first.
How to find somebody to kiss.
Oh, yeah.
No, what is the actual title?
Yeah. Are you waiting or looking for a spouse?
Are you waiting for a spouse or you're looking for a spouse?
You know, it's very interesting because there's a difference between those two.
A big difference.
And not many people know that or understand the validity of it.
Yeah. Most people believe one way or the other, or a mixture of both, or try to straddle the fence. And ultimately, I don't believe that there's a right or wrong, but a proper understanding of the difference between the two will definitely help you a lot and break through the confusion and the doubts and the fears.
Yes.
So
take it away, love.
Anyhow, so we're going to launch off from Proverbs 18:22 in the King James Version, which is the one I like. I understand it best because it's what I grew up with. But go look it up in your version if you don't like it. But this is what it says. Whoso findeth a good wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of the Lord. Now, the word find indicates by default that there's a search involved because you search for something, you find it, right? Like if there's just the one person in the entire world that's meant for you, where would free will come into play? You know, if there's only one, the widows and the widowers would be out of luck, right? They couldn't remarry because they're the one passed away. And or what about people who get, they marry the wrong one and then they divorce? What, if you marry the wrong one, do you then stay married or not stay married? You know, you see how when you flip it around, it's like, that only makes sense in one direction to the mind, but then when you flip it around and go the other direction, it doesn't make sense. So, you know, if there's only the one person for you, where would free will, choice, and responsibility for a wise decision come in? Rather, the Lord parades good options in front of you, and he loves you enough to allow you to choose. Who do you want? What do you want? And that's the whole thing why people, you know, make a list of what they're looking for in a spouse, you know, and they date. We don't subscribe to dating, but, you know, just to explain it, why do you date? It's because you're trying to decide what you like and what you want and what you don't like. You know, if you don't, you know, build friendships, you won't discover what type you like best and which ones you click with best, and you want this one or you want that one. And so, but then the Lord wants you to choose, and then he'll bless your choice. And so this is where you simply ask the Father for wisdom and guidance to make a good choice. Because if there was no free will, then there's no responsibility for the choice, right? It's all on God. So you marry somebody and it's the wrong person. Well, whose fault was it now? If there's only the one, you could blame it on God and not take personal responsibility. See, there again, the argument falls apart once you pick it apart. So we get married once we choose to move forward therein. Marriage is a decision. If you're old enough to be married and you're not married because you have subconsciously decided not to be married. Because if you really wanted to be married, you'd be going after it and getting out there, building friendships, and moving past hurts and pain of friendships that kind of went south, and not let that hold you back. So your inhibitions, doubts, fears, love of comfort and ease, and laziness, poor connection skills, emotional blocks, and waiting on God religiously, dead religion type waiting on God without taking developmental moving forward action steps in the meantime is what holds people back from getting married.
That's very good. Can I
Yes,
insert something here?
Yes, absolutely.
I was just thinking how I used to even say that, and I hear a lot of women say that, and men, that, well, I missed out on that person. I knew that they were the right person, and now what do I do? That person got married to someone else, or they don't even want to marry, period, right? And so that is an excuse. And also, and then I want to turn it into another side of it too, is that, did I really hear it from the Lord? Did I heard it correctly from the Lord? And yes, and yes, and yes, you probably did. The thing is, though, if the other person didn't choose you, or you didn't choose that person that maybe they heard that you were their right spouse for them, it doesn't mean that that was the only person for you. Otherwise, I wouldn't be married to Jesse, because I heard for another man that he was my spouse to be. So it's like that. And it is up to us to choose the right one.
And so we're responsible for our decision, our choice. So let's say somebody married and oops, they're not a good fit for each other. They're like, even their missions aren't in alignment and they're clashing like this, and you got tug of war going on. Well, if all of the principles of truth are applied in that relationship, and connection cycles, like daily connection cycle, cyclical habits are applied, and and everything else that goes with that package, that marriage can actually work.
Yeah,
it can. It comes with a decision to do whatever it takes, lay down your life, like whatever it takes. And so technically, in theory, okay, so I'm going to qualify this carefully, you could be married to anyone, and if both parties decide to do whatever it takes, it could work. Now, granted, because of free will, again, that's not going to happen because often the other party will choose differently from what you choose. And so it's when two people choose the same thing is when it can work.
Yeah.
And so what do you do if the other person doesn't choose according to as you think they should or know that they ought to? Well, you love well, you bless, release, and forgive, and trust the Father. That's the short answer. The long answer is like, well, a little bit more complex, but it doesn't have to be complex. Rule number one is, if you're single or married, let's say you're single, want to be married, or you're married and your marriage sucks, find people that are where you want to go, ask questions, sit down and lay down everything you think you know and start learning, taking notes, and then applying it. Otherwise, knowledge that's not applied just puffs you up with a bunch of knowledge that it's not going to do anything. It's like a pond. It's going to grow moss over the top, not like a river where there's a flow of receiving and then taking action. A river's taking action. A pond and a swamp just sits there, becomes scummy and stinky. So anyhow, let's see.
So waiting versus finding, looking.
So if you're the one that insists, nope, I'm going to wait on God. Okay, let me ask you this. Are you taking action in the meantime? Because waiting on God is actually an action. It's not sitting around waiting until God brings you together. What are you doing in the meantime to develop your connection skills? Are you building friendships with the opposite gender and also the same gender? Like mix it up. Make friends with like old and young, the same gender, opposite gender, because it's not about if it's about exercising your connection and communication and relationship skills. In the meantime, knowing that every friendship you build on the side is going to be another layer of experience and strength of experience that you will then bring to your marriage once you make a decision like, yep, this is the one I want. And so if you refrain from building friendships with the opposite gender because, well, I don't want to date, I want to make sure I'm actually interested in her for marriage. Well, again, if you bring now we got expectations coming in. And as soon as you do that with expectations on every friendship you build, you're putting a pressure on that person
and yourself.
That's gonna make them like want to like less codependency, and it just like feels stuffy, and like no one wants to be around you. And so if that's how you view building friendships, you're going to bring that same energy into a relationship that could actually work. And you could potentially destroy a budding flower by putting the expectation of pressure on them, like dating does, instead of just like release the dating concept and just go out and make friends with a dozen girls if you're a guy, or guys if you're a girl, and no expectations. Like literally, I'm just here to make friends and learn, exercise my connection skills. And of course, I hear in my audience, but, what about the people that are just out there with an agenda and just want to use you? Well, match again. Our other videos cover that, how to choose who you want to be close friends with, and how close depends upon whether your missions are in alignment. The more your missions are in alignment, if your missions are in alignment, your values and convictions and beliefs are probably going to be very similar as well. And so the depth of how deep you go is going to be dependent on that. So it's not like you just throw your heart out there and let everyone trample over. That's not what we're saying. Not at all. It's about, discovering somebody. What are their interests and their goals and their dreams? What is their mission in life? You can find that out in the first meetup and decide if they're just going to stay in the friend zone or, this one could go to the next level. I want to stay in touch with you for sure and get to know you deeper. So back to you, my love. I think I've covered everything I want to cover.
That was good.
Fire hydrant style.
Yeah, I hope you were taking notes. That was really helpful. I would say this: waiting can be really meaningful. You don't have to just sit there and wait. You can actually take action in your waiting, and that will help you to move forward when the person that you feel the most connection with will be in front of you. And the other thing, we talk about this almost every single video, is that don't choose someone with your feelings, with your body, with your, what I mean? I want to say with your penis, but I mean,
true story.
or the other way around, right? Because that is not going to lead you the right way. That's going to change. That's going to fizzle out, or it's going to change into something different at some point. What you want to choose is that you want to choose a person. And when you choose a person, then the love and that attraction will grow and grow and grow and develop. And that's the beautiful thing. Unless you're looking for a fast and furious and burnout, we don't recommend it. It's not fun. And so I would say if you're waiting, wait with purpose and be meaningful in that. Use the principles we shared before with you, or other couples shared with you before, and have fun with it. Don't put expectations on it.
Yeah. Expectations kills relationships.
Yeah.
So what do we, just PS, to remove expectations, don't date, just make friends, and a bunch of them, until one of the couple dozen that you're making friends with rises to the top as a favorite one. And you make that, and then you start spending more and more time with them as the trust factor builds, until you know each other so well as just friends that all of a sudden you're like, well, would you marry me? And just pop the question. And because there's freedom, because there were no expectations of pressures of dating. You're just making friends with a bunch of people, and all of a sudden this one, like, wow. And you guess what? You know each other well because you've been communicating for a while as just friends, getting to know each other on that platform. It's so freeing, and there's liberty and freedom in that.
Yeah. And guys, we're bringing the friendships between male and female back, because at some point they were taken away or put on the sexual connection only which is, doesn't have to be.
And if you don't have good options to do what we told you to do with, then expand your horizons and geographical location of where you're looking.
Yeah,
Start looking at different places and
exactly.
maybe start fishing in a different pond.
That's right.
That'd be my advice.
Yep. All right, that's it for
Yes.
today, right?
Yep.
You did
All right.
well.
Till
That
next
was
time.
Awesome.
I'll see you. Go take action.
Yes. Oh, and if you liked it, subscribe, liked, bell, all of the things that you already know because you've been a YouTuber for a while.
And if you want to get in touch and learn more about how we can give you more hands-on leveling up experience, then there's various ways to reach us. Facebook Messenger or just in the comments.
Yep.
And just say, hey, I'd like to talk.
Exactly. All right. Bless you guys.